I guess looks a lot like Mary Jane's soul back. So so Velma sees a soul coming to Daphne's body in Daphne's direction, and says, yo, yo, you, yo, and pushes the body on the chair, and the soul comes in, comes in, her body, and the creature comes out, and she lets sun in through the shades of the window, and the creature's gone, and tells her about the creature's has weakness, and asks if Daphne's all feeling good, feeling all right, and fine, but he's not Daphne. He says, "But I'm not Daphne," and she finds out it's Fred and Daphne's body, and I couldn't find my body. I panicked. So Daphne's in Fred's body. Yet somehow enter up with her purse. Anyway, so the gang regroups, and each one of them keeps on switching bodies and the wrong bodies. And Velma, Fred says everyone may come when he's in Shaggy's body. Fred and says Velma, "What the heck's going on?" And says, and says, "In my calculations are correct, we are going to continue change body," and they change bodies again until the plasma, until this pyramid gives us the right body, appropriate body, and eventually they do get their own body back. And the creepy voodoo guy said that they need a pure spirit for this ritual, and he's going to take this little thing and to protect himself, so when these people take over the world, and so the gang says, well, they can't do a ritual, a human sacrifice without pure. So where the heck are they going to find that? And Velma says it didn't say human, and Shaggy just realizes, oh boy. And we see Scooby kidnapped by, and that's kidnapping captured in the pyramid that where Daphne got the puzzle pyramid that was inside this big pyramid. that was destined to close if someone tried stealing it, but she managed to get it without getting caught. So they figure out that Mr. Bean's the villain. And Scooby-Doo's tricked in kind of voluntary not knowing what the word sacrifice means. And saying how Shaggy doesn't really trust him. And didn't believe him when he said about Mary Jane. And he says, I believe you. And says he wants him to be a sacrifice. And Scooby says, a sacrifice? So Scooby says yes. And Shaggy says, we're gonna do something. Shaggy and Fred actually points out that he's not exactly the Wraith, and he says, it doesn't matter, man. I'm going to have myself a Scooby's neck, and I'm going to save my best pal. And they all talk about the flaws and weaknesses, and Fred says to Daphne, you didn't let that get away. If that's not a true hero, I don't know what is. You getting called all the time, and you didn't let that bother you. And that's not true hero. I don't know what it is. And Velma says, "Oh, you're going to make me feel like that? Going to make me feel like I have a team? We couldn't make a plan." And they all like hold hands to you and like go and the Mystery Inc. is back in business, and Velma says, let's get jinky with the jinkies. That was kind of funny. So they all woohoo, and they all set up traps and the plan. So the plan for traps and set up the plan and for what they're and getting ready for saving the world. And Jerry's so excited that it's I'm see my buddy and going like totally save the world. And the plan goes south. Something happens wrong, so Fred and Velma end up had to do Scooby-Doo dance, sacrifice and ritual dance. And and Daphne gets in the fight with the wrestler, is on the rooftop, and a wrestler ends up fighting her, and after this is after the sketch out. This happens a little after the part where Shaggy beats up and steals this guy's clothes and sitting next to Scooby-Doo and says, and Scooby's just saying, thank you, and he says, Scoob, Shaggy? And it says, and he says, he says, I can't leave, I'm a sacrifice. And Shaggy says, no, a sacrifice, that's not a good thing, Scoob. And he says, look, I know I haven't been the best friend to you, but listen, you really gotta trust me now, buddy. And he says, why don't you trust me? I do trust you, Scoob. And he says, who's your best friend? Shaggy? That's right. And who's my best buddy in the whole wide world? Scooby-Doo? That's right. And friends trusting and counting each other. And so you're listening to, so we're going to run out of this place like crazy cowards, like crazy chickens. Okay? On count of 3. 1, 2, and Scooby Soul gets pulled right out of his chest by this machine. And he gets and this Mr. Bean's absorbing all of these souls, and says, and to commit the total transmission, I shall absorb all the power. And he says, nobody absorbs my best friend, and he is like shakes his elbows and takes the machine and takes the guy off and Fred says, "Hey, look, the man in the mask," and Fred peels off the mask, and turns out it's a robot, and who's controlling that robot is Scrappy-Doo. To get his revenge on Scooby-Doo, and he says, "Me? Don't you mean him? Don't you mean Melvin?" And he says, no. And he says he knew Scooby souls to complete his transformation. And as Scrappy gets bigger and bigger, to a giant size, and the Scooby-Doo theme song starts when Daphne gets into a fight with the wrestler, and Shaggy and Scooby are running and find out that they both get hold by Mary Jane, and Shaggy breathes Mary Jane's breath like, it's like, what? He's a scoop, and he says, Scoop said, "Told you so," and Velma hands Fred this bungee, saying that he's whipping being people with. And anyway, Daphne is kind of looks like she's beaten, and so Velma and Velma and Fred can't really do nothing to Mary Jane hands Scrappy Scooby. and Daphne bites the wrestler's hand, and he falls in. There's a hole in the ceiling, and that kind of burns Scrappy, and says she thinks it's over, not by looks, and Shaggy gets all the smells of this machine and taps Scrappy and says, "Hey, dude," and Scrappy says, "What? You're a bad puppy," and he re-engineers the puts the thing in reverse of the pyramid that's keeping all the souls, and they're all going free, and Shag's getting phrased in Scrappy is getting smaller, and Scrappy says, "Come on, I can still take you out," even when he's regular size Scrappy again. And Scooby just punches him, and he goes flying across the wall and says, "Ow, you got." And Shaggy finds Mr. Bean was being held captured for the entire movie, and it says, "Oh, thank you." This little monster is going on and on about making an evil mechanical version of me. And I'm in my office, and he has all long hair and a long beard, and he says, "Oh, thank you, fantastic," and so everyone lives happy ever after, and Fred decides, instead of explaining the whole mystery this time, taking all the credit, he says, "Actually, I think Velma can sound this up better than I can." And she explains what happens, and this explain what happens, and Scrappy says, "Where'd you go?" "So I got a cranky, and I would have gone with it if it went for you." And Shag says, you kind of be a little. Doesn't mean you have to kill all humanity. And it says, "I won't go away and he's in the door shut. If it wasn't for you," could tell that he was cussing. It was so anyway, that's the end of the movie, except for Scooby and Shaggy try these really hot peppers, and this really slaps, and Scooby's like saying, hot pepper. Scooby's like banging himself with the tray, like, and this tie scene took place on Spooky Island, and he just grabs Scooby's long tongue and puts ketchup on it, and that says, "How is that? This is delicious." And he after Scooby's trying that hot peppers, he says, Jack says, "Well, let's grab 2 more this time, try them together." And they all 3 go, ah! And that's it.